And welcome back to another BobBlast. Hi, I'm Bob Burridge, and this one is all about contrast. You don't think about it, and you wonder why is my painting looking so flat, so muddy? Start off with contrast. It's real easy. Just two colors, black and white, no mid-tone. So practice doing things like this. In other words, where's the light coming from? Well, it's obviously coming down this direction, and only show the bright spots, the highlights of a face or a figure or a still life. And then really make the dark part really dark. So there's no mid-tone. You can't make mud. Don't mix them. Hard edge. And that is the whole idea of contrast. Hard edge. It draws attention to itself. There's no softness. There's no fuzziness. It's all, it either is or it's not. It's that simple. So practice doing this on everything. After a while, you're going to start practicing on a ball, a simple ball. If you can paint this, you can paint anything. Watch. A ball sitting on a table. How simple is this? I make it all up too, and you can too. So in a dark room, we're in a dark room sitting on a table, and the light's coming down here. How do I know the light's coming down here? Because it has the shadow going out this direction, away from the light source. A hot spot. It's always kind of nice to put a little bling bling in the ball right there, that sphere, right? So there's the hot spot. I always talk about a hot spot. And by golly, I'm adding gray, mid-tone. Now we have three values. You have the darkest dark, the mid-tone, the gray, and the pure white. Just three values. And it's pretty simple right now because it's all hard edge. Get that part done, practice this. There's no light coming on this side of the ball because the light's coming down here, so it's shadow over here, dark over here, and a shadow going away from the light source. Remember, away from the light source. Then you start adding more water to your brush or your fingers or your paper towels, and you start making softer edges. Softer edges. It's not as hard as the one up there. So now we're starting to make it look more realistic. So you want to soften the edges. Still, everything's the same. It's dark, light, dark, light. I'll do that again. Dark, light, dark, light. That's what gives it its drama. Speaking of drama, you can take this practice piece and put it in the rest of your work. Here's simple, my parents at a museum. Darkest dark against the lightest light. Look at how hard edge it is. And the parts I don't want you to be really focused on, I soften the edges with just water, wet fingers. But there is the two subject matters that are in focus. Hard edge, right? Everything else disappears. It's so simple. Here, let's get something a little more complicated. More grays, more blacks, more whites. And that's into simple still life. You still have your dark gray, your light against dark against light. Even there, as small as this is, it's the same situation of where's the light coming from? The shadow going away from the light source. Well, then it's fun to start off with a gray piece of paper. Just start off with gray paper. You're already halfway done. You just have to put the darkest darks and the lightest lights, and you can go home or do another one. All right. So it's a great practice piece. So dark against light, and in between mid-tone. One color, not a whole lot. You don't want to make this thing muddy. That's how we make mud, by over mixing. Now here I'm being a little more adventuresome, using just those three values. Now they're all over the place, but still all that previous work will help you to do this dark against light, shadow going away, one focal point, just three values. And I just go on and on. Here I like to show the actual light source as a little bit of a window or a light source shining this way, and the shadow going away from the light source. How many times do I have to say that, right? Well, that's a very basic beginning before you get into color. I know you want to get into color. Let's handle this part first and practice it. Let me show you one of them. And this will be a quick demo on exactly what we just got finished looking at, okay? I'm not gonna spend a whole lot of time doing this. So here's a ball sitting on a table. I have my bucket of water over here. I have a black paint and white paint. This is my acrylic from Holbein. I have wide brushes, not tiny little brushes. You'll trip over those little things. So let's get right into the whole environment. So I'm going to start off with just black paint and a really wet brush. And we're going to paint the background first. Okay. Establish that. Usually I will paint on a gray piece of paper. You know, the mid-tone right off the bat. But since I'm demonstrating just contrast, that's what we're going to be doing. I'm going to leave some of this white over here. Nice and white. Okay, so if the light's coming across here, this direction, all right? And that means there's no light on this side. Think of the moon. Dark side of the moon, there we go. This is not putting it in any midtones or anything like that. See how it's starting to come together? You can start to vision that. Now, if the light's coming across here, that means the shadow's going to go out this way. Something like that. Okay? So I'm not using any gray tone right now, just letting everybody know where everything needs to be at this point. It'll look something like that. It'll look like that because I set it up a long time ago. I've been practicing this simple exercise over and over and over. Okay, so we have the whitest white, darkest dark. There's your contrast. That works pretty neat. But if you want to get the mid-tone, now we're going to do the mixing of the white, titanium white, and the black. Doesn't matter which black it is. Could be Mars black, prime black. So I'm going to put in the mid-tone at this point. I'm mixing white and black together here, just so we can ease into the white area. Okay, there's some, put some gray in here too. There's your mid-tone. I don't even need to use white. I'm using the white of the paper. Really emphasizing the spotlight. See, it's starting to come together now, isn't it? See how simple it was? Simple brush strokes, big brushes, that's the secret too. There are no secrets, but that's one of the things I like to use. You can get in, get out. If you're sitting there tickling it like that, you're just tickling it to death. And you're not painting. You're just moving little pieces of color around. Get in, get out, wide brushes. And as I get closer to the hot spot, I'll call this the hot spot, I'm using more water. Not even putting any paint on my brush. There's plenty in here. There you go. So there's your basic lightest to mid-tone to your darkest. That's pretty basic stuff. You all know this. I know you know this. You practice this. There we go. With just a clean brush. No color, just water. Just water. This is watercolor paper. This is Kilimanjaro, Cheap Joe's 140-pound watercolor paper. It's beautiful, isn't it? See, it doesn't wrinkle. I'm just using water right now, just all over the place. Blending it, painting, getting some brush marks back into it again. Well, that's pretty much it that I wanted to show you on this particular demo. So let me do one more quick piece for you. All right, so practice that. Let me just shut this down and end this whole demo, and I give one more piece of advice. So start the new year with the basics, and boy, it doesn't get any more basic than that. Practice this and practice this and practice this, and that's how you get into the museums, all right, or Carnegie Hall. Here's some more. Just keep practicing, whether it's simple objects like this, vases and a flower. I'm still working with the 3 simple values: the black, the mid-tone, and the whitest white. Hey, have fun, keep your brushes wet, and just use black and white and gray for the first 4 weeks. See what happens. We'll talk about color on the next BobBlast. Hey, thanks for watching, and let's start off the new year with a really powerful, strong graphic painting. I'll see you soon on the next BobBlast. Hi there, I'm Bob Burridge, and I'm inviting you to a workshop, a Loosen Up Painting Retreat workshop in Mexico. Don't you deserve a paintcation? I'm calling these a paintcation. 5 days, imagine. 5 days, we all stay together in this giant casa. It's fantastic. We eat there, we sleep there, we paint there every day. And we have the great village in front of us, and the ocean is right there, and it's a real working fishing village, so you're not going to get a whole lot of turistos where we are staying. It's wonderful, the music, the aromas of Mexico. We're going to be taking day trips. Again, we'll visit a botanical garden, do some painting in there. It's fantastic. Maybe even a boat ride around the corner to a secret place. We'll see some whales. There's even maybe some cooking classes for those of us who don't want to paint. But mostly we paint every day for 5 days, different subjects. Basically, it's Loosen Up Painting Retreat. I'm looking forward to the retreat myself. I do some of my best work. So if you like that Mexican flavor and color in your paintings, join me. Couple spaces left. I'll see you in Mexico.